Michele Crispo of MMA 24 here, and today I'm with Uros Dragos Jurisic. Uros, thanks for your time. It is an honor, a big honor to have you here.
Thank you, man. It's a big honor for me also to give you the interview, and hello to everybody who will be watching. Hope you will like the interview.
How are you, Uros?
I'm great. I'm good. It could be better because this Corona is making everything very complicated. When it comes to training, when it comes to making deals for fights and things like that. So I'm good, but it could be better with this Corona things coming up. So
Right now,
what about
Uros,
you?
sorry,
How are you, man? You good?
I'm doing good for now.
Nice.
Uros, right now you are in Slovenia, is right?
Exactly. Yes.
How is the situation regarding the COVID-19 in Slovenia?
Yeah, it's pretty complicated. Right now we have the police hour when at 9 p.m. everything has to be closed. Everybody has to be at home. Um, we also cannot go from one region to another region. So from one part of Slovenia to another part of Slovenia, you have to have certain papers. Why are you going and so on. All the restaurants are closed. Also, barbers are closed. What's most important for me, the gyms are closed. So we find ways to train. So we train anyways, but it's definitely not the same as if everything would be open because then it's more people on training. Also, the problem is traveling right now. I usually have gone for my fight camps to USA, and there you have a lot of fighters, so you don't have to take care about, I don't know, this fighter will be there, that fighter won't be there, because it's so many fighters. It's not a problem because you always find the guys who are similar to your opponent. Uh, Usually they're like that. If it's not, you usually talk about it, so they bring someone in or something like that. But right now, it's pretty complicated when it comes to that. You cannot travel to USA only if you have a working visa. I don't have it, so I'm kind of limited to Europe. Then my plan was to go to Sweden, but also the very great guy who I wanted to work with was is Hamza Chimao, and the guy has a fight on 19 December. So he usually the last 10 days you don't do sparring before the fight. After the fight, you usually stay in where the fight is for a few more days, and usually take 1 week at least off. So that complicates my plans right now for a little bit. I would like to know who my opponent is. If I know who my opponent is, then it's also easier to look where is the best training for me right now. But I don't get any information. It is very frustrating, but is what it is. We train, we do what we can, and waiting for opportunities.
Uros, first, congratulations for your last performance here
Thank
in
you.
Italy at Bellator Milano. It
Thank
was
you.
an impressive performance, a huge victory against a super fight like Walter Gaza. How do you feel?
Man, it's for me. I don't know. For me, is great feeling, but it's also what the least that I was. How do you say? The only thing I could accept was a victory. So it's the only thing I was ready to accept. So it, it's a good feeling. Definitely, I haven't fought for quite a long time because I had some injuries, and um, it was hard because when you don't have fights, you don't have sponsors, you have extra costs because of physiotherapies and things like that. And it gets complicated, but I'm happy I'm back in the on track. So I'm hoping for some big fights, and let's win them and go forward.
Uros, how you started your passion for the MMA?
Man, I always kind of loved fighting. Also as a kid, I was always when we had some kind of fights I was very happy to anticipate. Then later in high school, my friend was telling me about he started training in one team. That time it was called Vale Tudo. Vale Tudo means everything is allowed in Brazilian, I think so. So he told me about it and he said everything is allowed. And I said, like, I haven't seen anything like that. And he told me the name. He was talking about it. Then later I went on YouTube to see it. And since I saw it, I kind of fell in love. I went on my first session and ever there. Then since I started training more and more and more and more. And the passion for this sport is growing all the time. So I'm very happy I find this and I'm enjoying it.
Uros, you have a record of 11 wins and no defeats. This is a fantastic record for a young prospect like you.
Thank you.
What was the hardest moment in your career and which was the best?
But I think the hardest was the last things what happened in this layoff that I had almost 2 years, because I had the shoulder surgery, which was pretty big, and I was really, really, really ready to go to the UFC. I was kind of the management that I was working with was kind of raging that and was promising me that all the time. So I was really training hard all the time, and then the injury happened, and I had to stop, and then I had a car crash, and another fight had to get canceled, and so on. So it was. I think this was the hardest period of my career. Now the best period of my career. I don't know. Right now is the last win. I feel very great of achieving it and getting back on track. So it feels very good. It was this top 2 organization in the world, Bellator. So it's a good thing for me, and I'm looking forward for bigger things, bigger fights, and that's it. But as I said, it's a lot of problems with Corona, because I know right now I'm signed to KSW and I don't get an opponent, I don't get a date, I don't get. I don't know what's really happening. They kind of said to me to wait for next week, and I'm waiting for this, and I hope I get some good information.
Uros, you have 5 wins by knockout and 5 wins by submission. Do you prefer the striking or the ground face?
I prefer the stand-up because I think it's a better feeling when you knock out somebody. Definitely, the strikes are something I like more than submitting. But if the submission comes, of course, I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna hold it till you tap or sleep. So I'm always open to anything. Every finish is great for me if it's attractive for the people who watch, for the fans. I'm happy for that. That's very important for me. But everybody I face right now is a good guy, a good fighter. So any finish for me is good, and I'm happy with it. But if you ask me what I prefer knockout win.
Perfect. Uros, would you like to fight one more time in the Bellator MMA promotion, or would you like to join finally the UFC?
Hey, honestly, I really love how Bellator works and everything. It's really, really high level. I mean, I've been in Ultimate Fighter, so I kind of felt how UFC works and how Bellator works. They're both on the highest level of what I've seen. There was a lot of complications because it was Corona time with Bellator, and there was a lot of complications also with UFC because it was an Ultimate Fighter. It was not a normal show like UFC. But I love them both. UFC is, on the end of the day, is kind of is ranked the first organization in the world. So definitely that's the goal, and I want to get the belt there, and I want to be the best of the best. So UFC is number one wish. But if I'll be fighting in Bellator for some time, I'll definitely enjoy it because Bellator is a great organization. They have great fighters. The welterweight division is very strong. Definitely can the top guys can be compared to the UFC top guys. So both organizations are great. But as I said, I think UFC is still the number one at the moment, and kind of has the best of the best athletes in this sport. So UFC is the number one goal.
Uros, would you like to face someone in particular?
Honestly, the bigger the name is, the better it is for me, because that's how I can grow. That's how I can get even then better bigger names and so on. So there's no particular name right now. Since I'm signed to KSW, I'll probably be fighting one of their guys. So they said to me, KSW said I have to fight one fight before I fight for the title. The title holder right now is Roberto Soldic. I don't know if you know, but we had some pest, so I believe it would be a great fight for everybody who would watch. But I need one win before in KSW. So I don't know who will they offer, but I was watching the last KSW, and in that KSW, two guys of my division were fighting. Jarmowski, you probably know the guy. He's Lithuanian. He, for me, I remember when I started this sport, he was like for me an idol, because he was a European guy fighting in the top of Strikeforce, fighting for a belt with Nick Diaz. He also knocked him down. For me, they, a very big name and a guy I was watching all the time. Now he's a little older, so I believe he's not in the best shape he's ever been, but definitely he's a big name for me, and he just won the guy who was offered to fight for the belt. So I don't know what's the name of the guy, because it's very hard to pronounce. Gabriel, I don't know exactly. You know which guy I mean, maybe.
I don't know this guy.
Okay, so yeah, the name is very complicated. So Jarmowski was fighting one Polish guy, and this guy, the Polish guy, was offered to fight for the belt, but he didn't accept, because he had only 5 weeks to prepare, and he said it's not enough to fight Soldic. That's what I heard. It's not something I saw written by the news or something like that, but I heard from few people, so I think it's true. I also posted it on Instagram, and few people said, few guys said they heard that's true, and nobody didn't say it's not true. So I think it is true. And if he was the guy who should have fought for the belt and Jarmowski won him, then I believe Jarmowski would be a great fight for me. And for me, it would be, it would be nice to fight a guy like an idol, because I remember always when I was watching UFC and so on, when I think Franklin was fighting. I don't know, some guy was fighting a guy who was a bigger name, and I remember at that time he said, "To be a legend, you have to beat a legend." So Jarmowski kind of is a legend, but he's not in his prime. So I believe there are also other fights which can be better for me. Depends what KSW decides, but statistically, right now, I believe Jarmowski makes the most sense, since he won the guy who should have fought for the belt. It is true that how he won was not like the guy wanted to low kick him and he broke his leg. So it's a victory that is hard to celebrate when it's not something actually you did to win the guy. So I don't know what KSW decides. For me, this fight would be great, because, as I said, he's a big name. He was an idol for me before. I think it makes sense by KSW if they said the guy should fight for the title and so on. So let's see. I'm open for as biggest name as we can get. So I also tell that to my manager all the time, and he's a great guy. I love him, Carl from HD Management, and I think he'll do a great job and get me the biggest fight he can.
Uros, final, last, and hard question. What are the plans for the future for Uros Jurisic?
Thank you. Man, is take the KSW fight. I have 4 fights on the contract, so take the belt, defend the belt, go to the UFC, and
Go to the top.
Go to the top, exactly. So That's the plan. But as I said, right now the focus is on the next fight, which should be the title elimination fight, as KSW said. After that, the title fight, and so on. So I do step by step, but my goal is to be the best in the world.
Uros, thanks for your time. For me, it was an honor to talk with you. I wish you the best. You deserve it. Would you like to say something to your fans?
Hey, just thank you everybody for the support. Thank you for in the interview. It's a great interview, and I hope everybody will like what we talked about. And thank you everybody for the support. I hope you guys. I know everybody has a struggle right now with the corona. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people have hard times. But let's try to be positive. Let's stay strong, and always on the end of the tunnel there's a exit, is a new light. So let's come to the new light, and let's continue the journey of life. So all the best to everybody, and thank you for the support.
Thank you, Uros.
Thank you, man.